Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In this video, we are going to write a script that will ask you for a file name. We are going to pick either an image or a video file, and then we are going to add that image or video file to the timeline. As we write this script, you will see that it gets more and more complicated to figure out what is happening where. So in scripts to come over the next few weeks, we are going to expand on this script and change it so that it will use subroutines and then add comments so that we can tell exactly what each section is doing. Let's give it a whirl. To do this task, we first need to get the file that we are going to open. So let's create a new variable and we'll call it file to open, and that equals file.open dialog, and then we're going to put in the name to show in the dialog box. So we'll say please select an image or video file, and then with our semicolon, and we'll check to see if they actually entered a file. So if file to open equals null, then they did not select a file name. So we will put a message on the screen: alert, no file was selected. Otherwise, they did select a file. And let's show that file name right quick. So we'll go alert, quote, file, and then plus, and then the file name, which will be file to open dot fs name. So now let's try running this in Premiere. If we just try running it, we get the message that says there is no active target, so we hit our Control-Shift-A, select Premiere Pro, and try running it again. So now we have a file selection box that opens. It says please select an image or video file. Let's say we select an image and click on OK. It will show us the name of the image that we selected. If we run it again right quick, and this time we press cancel, it will tell us no file was selected. So far so good. It's doing what it's supposed to do at this point. Now we need to change this to actually process the file that we selected. We're going to do the same thing we did in our previous videos by first getting the sequence. So our my sequence equals app.project.active sequence. Then we're going to get the track list. Var track type list equals my sequence dot video tracks. And then we will assume that we have a sequence open in Premiere and that it has the standard tracks, and we're just going to work on the standard default track number 1. So let's set our variable this track equals track type list, and we're going to get the 0th track, which is track number 1. Now we have to determine where on the track we are going to put this image. If we are going to run this multiple times, then we don't want all of them at the 0 time code on the track. So let's put it at the current cursor position. So let's create a new variable called cursor time, and we're going to get the my sequence dot get player position. Okay, now we know what track and we know where on the track to put it. Let's find the bin that we want to put this. We're going to put it in a bin called test. So first of all, let's see if we have a bin called test, and then if we don't, we're going to have to create it. Let's set a variable my bin equals null, and then we're going to go through all the list of items in the root item and determine whether or not that bin exists. So for variable I equals 0 and I is less than app.project.root item.children, and then how many of them are there? There are dumb items. And then we're going to increment I to go through all of them. So for each item in that list, let's get the root item, and that will be app.project.root item.children, and we're going to get the ith one. So we'll go through all of them. Now let's check to see if it is a bin and if it has name of test. So if our item dot type equals project item type and it's bin, so if it is a type bin and the our item dot name equals test, then we know we have the right one. So we will set my bin equal to our item. Alright, we've gone through the list, and let's say that we couldn't find the bin. So if my bin equals null, then now we have to create a new bin. My bin equals app.project.root_item.create bin, and the name of that bin is test. Now that we have the bin, we need to import the file into the bin. The method of importing can actually import multiple files at one time, so therefore we're going to have to create an array. So let's create import array and put nothing in that array to begin with. Now we are going to push our file name into that array. So import array dot push, and we're going to send the file to open dot fs name, the one that we looked at earlier. Then we need to import those files. So we're going to app.project.import files, and we're going to send it the array that has the one file name in it but could have multiple file names in it. So we're going to put import array. Then our next thing, we're going to have a true false. We're going to make this true, and this says that we want to suppress any warning messages so that they don't pop up on the screen when importing. Then we're going to tell it where to put these files, and that is going to be my bin. And finally, we have to tell it whether or not this is an image sequence. In this case it is not, so we're going to put a 0. Now let's see if we can find the clip that we just added to our bin. So let's set a variable clip equals null, and then let's go through the list. For variable I equals 0, I is less than my bin dot children dot num items and increment I, so that we go through the entire list. Then if my bin dot children, the ith one dot name equals the name that we're looking for, so the matches the file, so file to open dot display name. Then we will set our clip equal to that child, my bin dot children, and it's the one we just checked, so it's the ith one. Now we need to check if the clip was actually found. So if clip is not equal to null, then we can add the clip to the timeline. So we want to put it on this track, and we're going to overwrite clip, and then the clip that we're going to add is clip, and then the position we're going to put that clip is at cursor time. And that should do it. So let's give this a whirl and see what happens. So let's try running this. Let's pick a video file. Come over here, we see that the video file has been imported, and that we can see that it was added at the cursor position. Next, let's move the cursor to a new position, and we'll run the program again. This time, let's just pick a picture. We'll scroll down, just pick any of these pictures here, click on OK. Now you can see the image has been added to the timeline at the cursor location, and if we look inside test, we will see our 2 items have been added there. So as you can see, this script will add the video clip or the image to the timeline at the cursor location. Stay tuned over the next few weeks as we expand on this script. Please sign up at www.JETDV.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.